everyone. I am Srishti Jagtap. Today I will be presenting the final outcome of my month-stack internship project titled HomelyHub Accommodation Booking Platform. Over the course of 4 weeks, I work on building a real-world full-stack project that allow me to apply my knowledge of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, Node.js, MongoDB. The goal of this presentation is to give you a complete walkthrough of my learning experience from understanding the fundamentals to implementing an end to end accommodation booking application. And finally, I will showcase a detailed demo of the working project. Project overview. Let's begin by understanding what Homely Hub is all about. Homely Hub is a web based accommodation booking platform that connects travelers and property owners. It allows users to search for accommodation by location or price, view property details including descriptions, images, and price, book accommodations through an easy to use booking interface. On the other hand, host or property owners can list their properties by submitting details through a simple online form. The aim is to provide a seamless experience for both travelers and hosts, similar in concept to Airbnb, but designed as a beginner friendly, lightweight version using modern technologies. Goal of the internship. The main goal of the internship was to gain hands on experience in full stack development using Stack, learn how front end and backend system interacts, apply classroom knowledge to build a functional real world application, strengthen concepts like component based design, API integration, and data management using MongoDB. In simple words, this internship helped me bridge the gap between theoretical knowledge and practical implementation. Project requirements. Functional requirements. User can browse available accommodations, search and filter properties based on location and price. Property owners can list their accommodations. User can book accommodations through an integrated booking form. Technical requirements. Front-end, React.js. For backend, Node.js plus Express.js. For database, MongoDB. Integration, RESTful APIs, and for version control, Git and GitHub are required. Architecture of Homely Hub. A Homely Hub project has three layers: front end layer, back end layer, and database layer. Front end layer is built using React.js. This layer is responsible for everything the user sees and interact with. It includes components like nav bar, property cards, search bar, booking forms, and contact page. Each of these components is modular and reusable. Following component based architecture, the front end sends requests to the backend using Exhaust and Fetch APIs. When the user performs an action like searching for property or submitting a booking form, the main goal of this layer are to ensure responsive design, smooth navigation, and user friendly experience. The second layer is a backend layer, built using Node.js and Express.js. This layer acts as a bridge between front-end and the database. It handles all the application logic, API routes, authentication, request processing. For example, when a user searches for property, the front-end sends request to the backend API. The backend processes the request, applies any filter and retrieve the relevant data from MongoDB. Then it sends the response back to the front end in JSON format, which React displays dynamically. The React also ensures data validation, error handling, and secure communication between the server and client. The third layer is database layer. Powered by MongoDB. It stores all the essential data for the application, such as property listing and their details, users' information, booking records. MongoDB stores the data in collection and documents, making it easier to work with JavaScript and integrate with Node.js. This database is highly scalable and flexible, perfect for handling multiple listing and user interactions efficiently. Workflow. Now let's understand how data flow through this architecture. Users start by performing an action on the front end. The front end sends the request to the backend using an API call. The backend processes the request and interact with the database. MongoDB returns the requested data. Finally, the backend sends that data back to the front end and update the UI dynamically for the user. This complete request response cycle happens in milliseconds, making the app fast, responsive, and user friendly. After completing the architecture and workflow, I focus on the most important part, actually learning and implementing each technology step by step. The internship was designed to give me real time experience with full web development process, from building a web structure to connecting it with backend and database. My learning journey started from the basics, HTML and CSS, and gradually advanced to JavaScript, React, and backend integration. In HTML, I learned to create basic structure of web pages using HTML5. Use semantic tags, header, nav, section, footer for better readability. Design forms for booking and property listing. Integrated navigation links across multiple pages. Build a responsive layout for different devices. Learning in CSS. Understood how to use CSS selector and properties to style HTML elements. Learn about box model, margin, border, padding, and content. Applied positioning techniques, inline, block, relative, absolute. Use colors, fonts, and background to enhance visual appeal. Gain basic understanding of layouts using flexbox for element alignment. Create a clean and simple design for all pages in Homely Hub. Learning in JavaScript. Learn the fundamentals of JavaScript syntax, how it works with HTML and CSS. Understood the use of variables, data types, operators, and loops. Practice functions to perform reusable tasks. Learn DOM manipulation, basics to make web pages interactive. Gain an understanding of events and how to handle them. Learn DOM manipulation for dynamic content updates. Implemented search functionality for accommodations. Added form validation and input handling. Use fetch API access to call backend data. Added dynamic page updates without reloading. Learning in React. Learn to build modular components for each project. Navbar, cards, payments, etc. Use React hooks like use state, use effect, for state and side effects. Implemented Redux toolkit for state management. Integrated APIs for fetching and displaying data. Gained understanding of React Router for page navigation. Now let's move on the implementation and demonstration part of my project Homely Hub. In this section, I will be showing you how different components of the application work together and how user can interact with the platform. Let's start with the home page, which is the entry point of the website. Here I have designed clean and responsive user interface using React.js. The layout is simple yet modern, with a navigation bar at top, a prominent search bar, and a section that displays available accommodation. The search bar allows user to search destination, then they can enter start date and end date. They can also add number of guests. For example, if I write here Goa and then click on the search icon, then it will show all the accommodation located at the destination Goa. Now let's move on the user authentication feature. When I click on the login icon, then the login page will open where user have to enter their email and password. Then they have to click on the login button. After that, login form validates the enter credentials with the stored data in the database. If the credential match, the user is successfully logged in and redirected to their profile page. If the user is new, then they have to click on the new user where they have to enter their name, email, password, and phone number. Once they click on the register button, the information is securely stored in the user's collection of MongoDB. Since I already created my account, so instead of creating new account, I will log in. After clicking on the login button, my account is successfully logged in. Once logged in, user can edit their profile information by clicking on edit profile button. They can also change their password. Uh, they can also view their bookings by clicking on my booking section. In my booking section, user can view their booking history. In my accommodation section, user can list new properties for rent. Over here, they can add the information about the property they want to rent. Just below the search bar, you can see accommodation cards. Each card contains a property image, title, short description, and basic details such as location or pricing. These cards are dynamically rendered using data fetch from MongoDB through Express APIs. When the component loads, GET request is sent back to Backend API. The backend then retrieves the accommodation details from MongoDB. Finally, the data is displayed dynamically on the front end using React State Management. When I click on any of this accommodation card, the application navigates me to details page for that specific listing. This is the property details page, which provides an in-depth view of the selected accommodation. Here I have implemented React Router for page navigation, so each property is displayed on the unique route. At the top of project, you will see the apartment name and its location, and also the property images, allowing user to get better visual feel of the accommodation. By clicking on this icon, you can see all the images. Below that, you will find the description of the residential area, the maximum number of guests allowed, and the amenities. As this place offers Wi Fi, TV, free parking, all of these details are dynamically fetched from the backend using API integration. Next come one of the most important and useful feature, the map section. The map usually shows the exact location of the accommodation using an embedded map. This make it easy for the users to understand where the property is located before booking. Now over here you will see the booking form. Since my account gets logged out, I need to log in again. In the login in the booking form, user can enter check-in, check-out dates, then number of guests, their full name, phone number. So now I will enter the dummy data in the booking form. I implemented form validation to ensure all fields are properly filled before proceeding. This ensures that the booking process remains structured and error-free. Once all the details are entered, user can click on the Book This Place button to proceed to next step. When I click on Book This Place button, the entire details are temporarily stored using React State and the user is redirected to the booking details page. On this page, user can review all the details they entered in, including the accommodation, name, then check-in, check-out dates, number of guests, nights, total amount. Now at the bottom, there is a button labeled Proceed to Payment. When the user clicks this button, the application opens a payment gateway form. The payment gateway form have two options: cancel payment and confirm payment. If user click on cancel payment, they are redirected back to the previous page without saving the bookings. However, if the user clicks confirm payment, the booking details are successfully submitted to the backend. In the backend, the booking data is retrieved via post API request. It is the then it is then stored in the booking collection of MongoDB database. In the backend, booking data is received via post API request. It is then stored in the booking collection of the MongoDB database. So now by clicking on confirm payment button, the booking details appears in the user's profile under my booking section. This entire workflow demonstrates how the front end and back end communicate seamlessly to handle real-time user interactions. So this was the working demo of my project Homely Hub. It includes all essential features of a modern accommodation booking platform. It includes interactive homepage with property search, dynamic property details display, functional booking and payment system, secure authentication for users, profile and booking management, property listing features for host. This project not only strengthened my technical knowledge but also gave me practical exposure to how real-world web applications are structured and built. As I come to the conclusion of my presentation, I would like to reflect on what I have achieved and learned throughout this internship journey. I began with just basic understanding of web development, but through consistent effort, guidance, and hands on practice, I was able to build a complete real world project, Homely Hub. The project allowed me to apply everything I learned. I also learned how to connect the front end and back end using REST APIs, how to manage data using MongoDB, and how to integrate all layers to make a fully functional web application. Now, I would like to thank WebStack Academy and MRC Information Technologies for offering such well structured and practical learning experience through MonStack internship program. I am extremely grateful to my mentors and trainers at WebStack Academy for their continuous support, guidance, and timely feedback. Their teaching approach helped me understand complex topics in very simple and clear manner. This entire journey has been a wonderful learning experience, and I feel proud to have successfully completed my project Homely Hub as a result of this internship. I would like to conclude my presentation. Thank you all for your time and attention. I hope you enjoy this walkthrough of my project Homely Hub and journey behind it. Thank you so much for watching my presentation.